Gildan Media, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Expertise Economy: How the Smartest Companies Use Learning to Engage, Compete, and Succeed, by Kelly Palmer and David Blake. Narrated by Patricia Rodriguez.
Introduction. In 2010, Sun Microsystems was delisted from the Nasdaq Stock Exchange after 28 years. Just 10 years earlier, they were a titan of the computer industry and at the top of their game, going head-to-head with then-computer giants Hewlett-Packard, IBM, and Microsoft. Sun made computers and software that powered many businesses, including the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, some of the largest financial institutions, and most of the major airlines. They also created Java, an innovative programming language that is still being used by the majority of software developers worldwide. The crash of 2001 devastated hundreds of internet and computer companies, but neither the analysts nor Sun's close to 40,000 employees could have predicted Sun would completely collapse or that its stock price would plummet and lose 75% of its value in just 1 year. In the end, Oracle agreed to buy Sun for $7.4 billion. Just 2 years earlier, Sun had been valued at $65 billion. Facebook took over Sun's Silicon Valley campus and kept the Sun logo on the back of its signage as a reminder of what can happen to a successful company if you don't adapt quickly. But Sun is only one of many companies to suffer obsolescence, and company disruption is only going to be compounded in the years to come. According to Innocight's 2018 corporate longevity forecast, at the current churn rate, about half of S&P 500 companies will be replaced over the next 10 years. Companies that don't reinvent themselves, don't think about digital disruption, and don't think about retraining and upskilling their workforce will be part of that churn. The world of work is going through a large-scale transition, much like the transition we went through from the agricultural economy to the Industrial Revolution. We are now in the age of digitalization, automation, and acceleration, an age where critical skills and expertise will be an imperative for us to succeed in the economy. A 2018 McKinsey Global Institute report states, "The task confronting every economy, particularly advanced economies, will likely be to retrain and redeploy tens of millions of mid-career, middle-aged workers." Because historically we've only experienced these kinds of workforce transitions over decades, if not centuries, we are in uncharted territory, especially in terms of how quickly things are changing. There are few precedents in which societies have successfully retrained such large numbers of people. The workforce is not prepared. McKinsey's study makes it abundantly clear that the workforce is not prepared for the disruption that's upon us. 62% of executives believe they will need to retrain or replace more than a quarter of their workforce between now and 2023. Due to advancing automation and digitization. If CEOs and business leaders are relying on a hire-only strategy to get talent with the skills they need for the future, they will have to think again. Even the best universities are increasingly failing to prepare students with the skills they need to meet companies' hiring requirements. Research also shows that both companies and graduating students are feeling the pain. 82% of employers say it's difficult to fill positions, while 83% of students have no job lined up after graduation, and 62% of students report that the job search is frustrating or very frustrating. Even more troubling, leaders sometimes find after hiring new grads that they are wholly unprepared to succeed at their jobs or to navigate the real world of work, especially in this challenging and rapidly changing environment. These are people with marketing degrees who struggle to create a marketing plan and cannot use the latest social media tools to get their work done, or MBAs who cannot read a financial statement. And employers consistently see graduates from all areas of study who can't communicate well, either in person or through writing. College grads are not the only ones missing critical skills. People who have been in the workforce for decades often lack certain skills required for success in their jobs. Today, the vital skill set for success includes learning agility, the ability to learn new things quickly, collaboration and teamwork, perseverance, curiosity, and the ability to question the world around you. If you aren't ready and willing to learn every day and keep up with a rapidly changing world, you can't and won't stay competitive. Gone are the days when you could graduate with a 4-year degree and feel secure that you had learned everything you needed to know to stay relevant for your entire career. Business leaders closing the skills gap. While government can be a powerful force when it comes to launching skills initiatives, it's companies and their leaders who need to lead the way. CEOs like Randall Stevenson of AT&T are doing more than just asking, do we have the skills we need to win in our business? Instead, their focus is on ensuring their employees develop ongoing skills through continuous learning. As Stevenson said to the New York Times, there is a need to retool yourself, and you should not expect to stop. He added that people who dedicate less than an ideal 5 to 10 hours a week to learning will obsolete themselves with the technology. This includes articles and books, podcasts, videos, etc. People are learning a lot more than they think, but don't always categorize it as learning, and we discuss this later in the book. To these companies, it's becoming ever clearer that employees with the right skills can be instrumental in helping their company succeed. But the problem is that many business leaders are not asking the right questions. How many CEOs know if they have the right skills for their company? How many managers and leaders actually know what skills the people on their teams have? And how many employees have a clear view of the skills they have and what skills they will need for the future? The power of building skills for the future. The most forward-thinking companies are being proactive in adapting to the shift in the workforce. During other major workforce transitions, we've had some time to adapt to the changes, but that's compressed today. Some companies are still pondering how work is changing, but digital disruption has been advancing for several decades now, and it's no longer something of the future. It's happening right now. Expertise has never been so crucial to a person's or company's success as it is today. Companies like Unilever, Bank of America, and Airbnb are proactively thinking about the skills and expertise of their workforce now. These companies and their CEOs are all in the midst of digital transformation and realize that reskilling and upskilling their workforce is a matter of staying relevant. The financial services company Visa, realizing the urgency and strategic nature of skilling its workforce, moved its learning function out of HR and into their corporate strategy division. This means reskilling the workforce is being seen more strategically than just sending people to compliance training. Other companies are creating digital transformation divisions and including learning and reskilling as part of their strategies. These companies are shifting to adapt to the changes in the workforce instead of sticking with the status quo. Tim Munden, Chief Learning Officer at Unilever, is creating a strategy for upskilling and reskilling more than 161,000 employees around the globe, not as part of a separate learning strategy, but as one that is integrated into the company's overall digital transformation strategy. This is a business strategy, not a learning program. Munden believes that skills are utterly transformational in the 21st century. As organizations become networks of people not just employed by you, but networks of people inside and out of the company. Skills are what form the connections of the network. Networks form around what a person can do, and we employ people for what they can do, as well as their purpose in doing it. Developing your employees' skills at a rate equivalent to the rate of change is the key to a sustainable, competitive strategy. We need people who have the latest skills and who build new ones quickly. No one knows for sure what skills are going to be needed for the future, so we need a shift in our thinking about learning and skill building too. This means companies need to create an environment where employees are continuously learning new skills, upskilling and reskilling themselves at the same rate that things are changing. Companies can encourage employees to learn every day. Learning should be built into the work that they already have, not something that they do separate from work. The Expert Revolution. Old methods of corporate learning are not going to be effective strategies for building skills for the future. People developing new skills and building expertise are often self-directed. This means employees are learning everywhere all the time, but companies are not recognizing what people are learning, what skills they are building, and how they are working to prepare for their future careers. Your employees are doing this for survival. They want to stay relevant in the workforce too. You already have lots of experts in your workforce, and we are not just talking about the data scientist, blockchain guru, or AI engineer. We're talking about the woman in the engineering department who is an expert at drafting complex project plans and keeping people working on those projects on schedule, or the administrative assistant who is an expert at getting urgent purchase orders through the system quickly, or the software engineer who is a JavaScript expert, highly regarded by other engineers who frequently seek her advice, or the sales guy who knows how to tell the most compelling product story and give a killer demo, or the person who knows PowerPoint inside out and is the first person everyone goes to when they get stuck creating a presentation. These experts are some of the 80% of employees who are not targeted for management or leadership development, who have had to figure out on their own how to develop their expertise and build their skills and knowledge. Driven by passion or curiosity about a specific skill or special interest, they identified what they didn't know and what was new out there. They closed their own skills gap by consuming learning in whatever form they could get their hands on: video, blog, online course, in-person course, book, and applying what they learned on the job until they mastered it. They may have been fortunate enough to have a mentor or a boss who guided their learning journey, but frequently that's not the case. No doubt, these self-driven experts who can learn quickly are crucial to your company's success, and you need to nurture their ability to build new skills continuously. But to stay genuinely competitive, to grow your talent base, you need to focus on developing new experts, on helping everyone on your team close their personal skills gaps and master specialized capabilities. And the way to do that is by encouraging them to own their professional development every day. Rather than dictating from above which skills every employee should learn and how they should learn them, the most effective leaders inspire employees to personalize what and how they learn. Humans are wonderfully complex, uniquely autonomous, and ultimately unpredictable. We should celebrate and respect that, and yet we often try to make everyone the same. Learning is complicated and messy. It's not enough to offer support to your employees on their learning journey. You also have to create the right environment for employees to take ownership of what and how they learn. The rest of this book will show you how to do just that. First, we'll review the latest scientific research on how people really learn. Your commitment to helping employees stay competitive for the sake of your business and their careers requires understanding more about what motivates people and how employees can develop expertise. Then, we'll offer 7 guiding principles for how you can help your employees build the skills that are so critical to the success of your company, now and in the future. Those principles are: make learning a competitive advantage. Company culture plays a critical role in helping employees build skills for the future. Companies that build a culture where learning is part of the overall company strategy and something that people want and love to do have a clear advantage. CEOs and business leaders who model this behavior have employees who follow their lead. The best talent wants to work for a company that believes that learning is a priority and that investing in their future is a core value. Embrace personalized learning. Technology is enabling personalized learning, a key factor in helping people integrate learning with work. People want to learn the skills that will help them succeed, so don't waste their time with what they don't need. Personalized learning enables every person in your company to get the learning they need to build the skills for the next business problem to be solved. We'll talk about how AI and machine learning is helping employees create personalized learning profiles, personalized skill plans, and personalized career pathways. Combat content overload. We learn from a diversity of sources over the entirety of our lives. We have evolved from a knowledge-scarce world to a knowledge-abundant world. Excellent learning content is everywhere, and often it's overwhelming to sort through. We'll discuss strategies for using a variety of learning resources, from courses, conferences, certificates, books, podcasts, websites, experiences, journals, and articles to help build expertise. We'll also discuss curated content and machine-curated content and ways to help employees learn what they need when they need it. Understand the power of peers. People love to learn from other people. Yet we don't always focus on how we can learn from our peers and tap into the knowledge and experience of those who have already mastered a skill. This chapter provides strategies for getting your entire workforce involved in learning from each other and understanding the power of their peers. Succeed with the right technology. Technology is making new things possible in learning and skill building. In this chapter, we highlight a few education technology companies that are creating new and innovative approaches to workforce learning and putting the learner in the center of the learning ecosystem. We'll also discuss how some of the most forward-thinking companies are creating learning ecosystems that incorporate and integrate a number of best-in-breed technologies to help their companies succeed. Analyze your employees' skills with data and insights. Learning technologies, search data, and web analytics can produce lots of data about what and how your employees are learning. Using data when creating strategies around reskilling and upskilling your workforce is critical. We'll discuss ways that you can use data to get a better understanding of what skills people have, what they need, and how you can close the gaps. We'll also talk about some of the critical skills needed in the future workplace and how you can help employees who have built new skills and expertise find the next opportunity in your company. Make skills and expertise count. Understanding your employees' skills quotient, or SQ, is a great way to understand what skills your employees have and what skills they need, so they can figure out what they need to do to develop skills for their careers. SQ can also be a valuable tool for companies looking at their workforce as a labor market, with skills being the currency. Imagine what you could do if you had all that data at your fingertips. We'll provide useful case examples describing how you can apply SQ to internal and external recruiting, reskilling, promotions, mentoring, and skills inventory, to name a few. Today, there are more tools, content, and technologies than ever before to help your employees become the experts you need. Above all, success requires that you adopt a new mindset when it comes to skilling your talent, your most important asset. It demands that you start thinking of your employees as complex, unique individuals who should be in control of their own learning and careers. Finally, it dares you to let go of outdated and traditional ways of closing the skills gaps in your workplace and to embrace the new challenges ahead in the expertise economy. Chapter 1. How we really learn. To help people become experts, to help them gain knowledge, build skills, and become lifelong learners, it's critical that we understand how adults learn best. Today, we know more than ever about how the human brain works and how people learn most effectively, whether they are trying to gain new knowledge, build a new skill, or change a behavior. For example, we know that sleep has a big impact on how we learn, and that mindset and motivation are essential. In this chapter, we take a jargon-free approach to adult learning theory and explore the latest findings from the science of learning and the related science of motivation. We delve into research on growth and fixed mindsets, and we discover the connection between purpose and learning. We will also discuss what we know about the brain and learning from neuroscientists, while dispelling some myths that are so prevalent today. Resilience, naturally, plays a big part in becoming an expert. We'll look at what science tells us about how people can persevere through setbacks and risk making mistakes, and how they can learn from their mistakes and push self-perceived limits. Finally, we will explain throughout how current corporate approaches to learning fly in the face of the established scientific research. For example, is your company using primarily instructor-led training with lectures and PowerPoint presentations? Are you killing your employees' motivation by only emphasizing compliance training at your company? Are you telling people exactly what they should learn rather than giving them some autonomy? You probably shouldn't be. We'll show you why and explain how you can apply the psychology and science of learning to help your employees learn and build skills every day until they become true experts, which is so crucial to a company's success. The science of learning. It's surprising that more companies don't use what we know about the science of learning to help their employees learn and build skills. Brewer Saxberg has spent his career focusing on the science of learning and advocates putting more learning engineers like himself into companies. Saxberg is now leading some of the most forward-thinking learning science strategies for the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, CZI, as their Vice President of Learning Science. Founded by Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg, CZI is a philanthropic investment organization focused on improving equal opportunities and human potential. Education is one of its foundational pillars. Learning engineers can help companies understand the science behind learning and be incredible drivers in getting the most value from employees. By his own admission, Saxberg sort of fell into learning science as a career. In the late 1970s, he was studying mathematics and electrical engineering at the University of Washington and looking for a summer job. A family friend knew someone who worked for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, and Saxberg landed a position at NASA doing communications research. He was asked to come back again the following summer and told to choose a meaningful project to focus on. The coolest project Saxberg devised was to better understand how the brain stores and codes information. This was 1978-79, and it was early, so there weren't very many people who were integrating information theory, neuroscience, cognitive science, artificial intelligence, mathematical information theory, and so on. So I just thought, there's really something here. He completed his studies at the University of Washington, then went on to study at MIT for his master's and PhD, then attended Harvard to get a medical degree, MD. He wanted to cover all the bases in computer science, engineering, and the basic sciences to thoroughly understand how the human brain learns. He discovered that both cognition and motivation need to be taken into account. According to Saxberg, learning is very context-sensitive to what's already in your head. You have to understand the cognitive aspects, like what have you already mastered? What is already in your long-term memory? What are your areas of expertise? When you realize there is something new you need to learn, Saxberg explains, you need to start, persist, and put in mental effort. That's when the brain changes. It's like a muscle, and the brain actually changes as a result of learning. Motivation also plays a big part in effective learning. According to Saxberg, 4 things can go wrong with learning motivation. You don't value what you are doing or how you are doing it. You don't believe you are capable of learning a complex subject. You blame environmental circumstances. I just don't have time to learn. You struggle with negative emotional states that distract you from learning, like anger, depression, or distraction. Because of the interrelationship between cognition and motivation, Saxberg emphasizes, learning has to be personalized according to both the cognitive aspects that you have or don't have and the motivations you have or don't have. For example, if Sarah is pursuing a career in finance, but she hasn't mastered algebra, Sarah is going to have to solve this before she can master finance. That's a cognitive issue. The truth is that people learn when they care. So how do you get people to care? Saxberg believes that the first step is to understand that each person is comprised of a unique mix of cognitive abilities and motivations. That means if you expect people to learn, then you need to know what makes them tick from both a cognitive and motivational perspective. Saxberg warns that if you neglect this part of the learning process, you're going to get what you usually get. And what you usually get in a typical company classroom environment is that most people don't even understand what you are doing. Most people just sit around and don't care. Most people just hope to mark this as a fun or interesting session and move on. And there is no discernible impact on their work. They don't start, persist, and put in mental effort. You have to solve for context, personalization, and motivation for successful learning. Neuromyths about learning. Despite the amount of knowledge we have about how the brain works in relation to learning, some myths, or neuromyths, have somewhat clouded our thinking about how we learn. According to neuroscientist Julia Sperling, many misconceptions about learning have made their way into the world of work. Myth 1. People only use about 10% of their brains. Reality. You use almost the entire capacity of your brain. Myth 2. People are either right brain thinkers or left brain thinkers. Reality. The left and right parts of the brain do not function completely separately, and learning has nothing to do with the hemispheres of your brain. Myth 3. People have an optimal channel, visual, auditory, etc., through which they learn. Reality. People actually use as many channels to learn as they can access. Neuroscientist David Eagleman agrees and adds that learning is most effective when all of the senses are combined into the learning experience: audio, visual, touch. He reinforces the idea that people learn best when they have to.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?